Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Otakuology podcast. I'm your host, Otaku Mike, and with me as always is Jin the Hard-Boiled Graves. Today, we are talking about Sakamoto Days episode 4. Hard-boiled.
What does me being hard-boiled mean?
Just means you're like badass, I guess.
Okay. I was like, this just makes me sound like I'm angry.
Well, the assassin in the anime, he's like, this is hard-boiled. We're hard-boiled.
Oh, no. I forgot. I forgot about that. Fuck that guy.
I was wondering if that was like a reference to the movie Hard-Boiled.
No, that's kind of his whole shtick, I think.
I know it is his whole shtick.
And I'm just going to say, after watching this episode and having that, like, I was pleased to see a villain that kind of had like a code of conduct.
Yeah.
An assassin with more of a code of conduct, kind of along the same lines as Sakamoto.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after watching this, to the end, I was just kind of like, come on, give me the pizza guy back.
Give me the pizza guy back.
Give me the pizza guy back. He's a lot better villain than most of these other guys.
I liked Tatsu, the spiky haired guy from the last episode.
Oh, in this one?
Yeah, I liked him in this one. But yeah, let's get into this. We start off with Lou in the roller coaster.
And we also learned that Lou is hardcore.
She's hardcore.
So
yeah, she is. But I thought it was funny, like they forgot her in the roller coaster.
Yeah. She's like, where are we going?
But they end up tying up Tatsu, the assassin, which I think this is where we get his name. I don't remember if we got his name in the last episode.
I don't think so either. I think you're correct in that this is the one we learned his name.
But they end up tying him up, and we find out that he has an antidote for the poison, which Shin does not like eye drops. I mean, who wouldn't like eye drops? I felt like that scene was really real in a sense.
I mean, there's a easy way to do it.
I mean, I feel he didn't really like it, and Lou was pretty hardcore in this scene.
Well, let's just talk about that. You know how big his eyeballs are?
They are big.
And for her to have to put that drop on there, I bet that felt like fucking acid.
I mean, probably.
Bloop.
Ah! Which I love when they're talking to Tatsu and they have him tied up. And she's like, oh, is it this knife here? Does this knife have poison in it? And she just stabs him.
No, you have to tell us.
No, you have to tell us. He's like, every second I'm going to dump some of this out. And Shin's like, wait a minute. I need some of that still for my other eyeball.
Yep.
Which this whole episode is really funny.
Reasons why I say she's hardcore.
She's hardcore. And we come to find out, or Hana and Aoi find out, something fishy is going on. And I'd say they're not very good liars, I feel like.
Who?
The assassins, like Shin, Lou, Sakamoto. I don't feel like they're, because they're still pretending that like this guy is he's like a part of the show. But they have him tied up doing rope tricks.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Aoi knows what's going on. She's
gullible.
Or she's playing stupid.
Probably.
Maybe
she's in that whole thing of, as long as you don't kill them, like, I don't care still.
Yeah.
So maybe she does know what it is, and maybe she's playing along. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But I love this whole scene where, like, they take the knives from Tatsu and they're like, look, we're here to have fun. We're not going to kill you. It is what it is. And all Tatsu really wants to do is just ride on a roller coaster.
It's against the rules. We can't kill you.
We can't kill you. It's against the rules.
Yep.
But I love this scene. It was so cute of Hana going over and giving him a Band-Aid
Yeah, it
because he
was.
got hurt. And I was like, oh, my heart. I was like, oh.
Here you go. This is for you.
But what happens next after they leave Tatsu?
Then we get the view of the other group of assassins, which is the bomb guy and
Boiled.
yeah, and the girl.
What was her name? Her
I
name
I don't
was
actually remember her name.
Obigiri
Okay.
is her name. She had a
Um.
weird name.
Yeah. Well, and she was just weird overall. Like she seemed like she was kind of like a foul mouth girl, but anytime like Boyled's like stoicness came out, she's like, "Oh my god, I'm in love with you.
Oh
Let me
my
have
god,
your babies.
he's so cute. I love
Let me
him.
let me have your babies." And it would be like she wouldn't say that out loud. And you're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, and we find out that they're ready to
You know
fight.
what? You know what that kind of reminds me of
What?
though.
What?
Reminds me of like shit from Naruto with Sakura.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that's exactly what it reminded me of.
with
Her,
her and Sasuke.
yeah, her, but it was Obagoye talking about Boiled. Like
Yeah,
that's exactly what it made me think about.
her name's not Obagoyle, it's Obagiri.
Oh. Obagaro Goyle.
I didn't know what her name was at first. I had to turn on subtitles.
Oh,
I was like, Obagiri.
Obi.
Obi.
Yep.
But yeah, we also find out that Boiled will only take the life of the person he's contracted to attack
Yeah, what
or
a
kill
bitch. Yeah, what a bitch.
because he doesn't want to step on the ants. But
Yeah.
he's also courteous because he wants to make sure Obagiri is her feet are okay and did she get a snack? Did she need a rest? You know, I was like, okay. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I don't know.
you don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know about this character. Like I'm not a big fan.
You're not
Uh,
of Boiled.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Boiled at all. Or Oba Gargoyle. I'm not a
Over
fan of her.
Gargoyle,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her either.
which they end up meeting up with Tatsu, and basically like, here, we're like your backup basically because you fucked up,
Yeah.
and yeah, which we also find out that there's an organization of assassins
Yeah.
called the JAA, the Japanese Association of Assassins.
Jahaha.
Ja. And Shin was a part of this. Sakamoto was a part of this. Boiled was a part of this. We also find out that Sakamoto was a part of this thing called the Order. And apparently, the Order, to a lot of people, is like a myth.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the Order is exactly.
Watch, we'll find out something originally that way back in the day he was part of Millennium, and we'll be like,
Oh
what?
yeah. One thing I hope they don't really go into this more later on.
Yeah.
But we move into where we find out that Boyle knows Sakamoto.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, you're hard boiled. You're cool, man. I want to hang out with you." Basically, is what he tells Sakamoto. They go to an assassin school. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like it's like an assassin high school. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, do we really need to bring school into this? Sakamoto already looks like he's like 30 in this flashback.
This is true. This is true. This was the one part I have to say out of what we've seen so far in this series that discouraged me from ever wanting to read the manga
Oh yeah.
because I was like, why do I need to know this? Like,
I have to
there's an assassin school?
I have to say though, I did think it was a little funny. like what happens to them at the assassin school and what they're doing outside of it,
Yeah.
I thought was really funny. Like the punchline was really funny.
I have no clue.
You have no clue?
Yeah, I just thought that was a weird twist to it.
It is a weird twist, and Sakamoto befriends, or I use befriends in quotations, hard boiled.
Yeah.
And after this, Sakamoto ends up going to eat lunch with his family. Something's going on, but they don't tell them, but they end up going to the haunted house, which is this perfect place for an assassin to strike and kill. We also forgot to mention that Shin, his clairvoyancy is not working at the moment. So they're at a disadvantage.
He can't focus.
Not at all. Not at all. But
No.
we do end up getting some interesting backstory. We find out Sakamoto and Boiled hang out a bunch. Like they did everything together. Everything. And things didn't really go so well.
It didn't get hard boiled.
It didn't get hard boiled, baby.
Exactly.
Not at all. And we see these. So when we get it's interspersed between this and when they're in the haunted house.
Yes.
And we hear little bits and parts of this backstory. And for some reason, hard boiled or boiled is very mad with Sakamoto. Like extremely mad at him. He doesn't like him. Whenever he thinks of him, his scar hurts, and you think, "Oh man, did Sakamoto give him that scar?" No, he didn't. It's a weird thing. Like when it's about to rain, your knees hurt. You can feel in your knees.
Yeah.
But they unfortunately have a past, and all these other assassins try to attack them in the haunted house. And I love how they go about trying to get around the assassins in a sense. Like at one point, Sakamoto gets scared. And another point where they're going through the haunted house, Lou has to take her anxiety medicine, which turns out to be just alcohol.
That I think that's also one of my favorite parts in this.
It's funny because she's slowly getting drunk.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh my god, hold on, I gotta take my medicine.
I gotta take my medicine.
Go,
Oh
go,
man,
go."
yeah." And then they're like, "Oh, what is this? It's alcohol of all things."
Yep.
And then we get the pivotal moment in this episode where they come upon a door, and because they're in like a haunted hospital or something like that, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
And all these like zombies come out or something, and a lot of the zombies separate Sakamoto and his family. And this is where Boiled attacks Sakamoto. And what happens after this?
They split him up, and then he tries to basically kill Sakamoto because he thinks that his powers from when he was a wee lad till now
We're cool.
have grown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like before, I think Boyle's appearance before was pretty funny because he looked like a straight up nerd.
No, he had like he was wearing like leather jacket and pants. He had like a goatee. I think he had glasses on.
And he kind of had an afro.
Kind of a little bit had an afro. And we see him at like the lunchroom or whatever they're at. And they're talking, and he's like, "Man, check out this cool thing I got. It's my was it like dynamic rocket punch? I think it was.
Yeah.
DRP, I think. He's like, I put a stick of dynamite in this thing, and it propels me and propels my fist, which kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like the rocket punch.
This is kind of like his thing before Iron Man was a thing.
It reminded me of a lot of the super robots, like Mazinger and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But he also has super bouncy balls.
Yeah, and
that
well, and
explode.
that's where his rocket punch comes from.
Was
Because
it?
yeah, so whenever he uses them, how the gloves made is when he bounces the balls, he gets them where they go into those tubes or whatever, I
Uh huh.
guess. And when they blow up, that's when it projects them forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're all based off of the same thing together, but yeah,
Which we find out that he's explaining this stuff to Sakamoto and the doppelganger assassin. I don't remember what his name is. I forget what his name is. He didn't make a big impact on me.
the
He's
doppelganger assassin.
the guy from the last episode, I believe it was.
Oh,
He's
Neguro,
yeah,
Negumo.
something like that. He's talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, check all this stuff out. It's so cool." And Sakamoto is like, "This is lame. Like, why do you need all these stupid tricks?"
Yeah,
And that kind of just breaks Boiled to his core. It also breaks Boiled to his core because Sakamoto gets all the girls like all the time. There was one in particular in the flashback where that like took his favorite type of bullet casing and molded it with chocolates and made chocolate bullets.
yes,
And I'm like, God, that's dedication right there, I feel like.
yeah, it
That's
is.
dedication to mold chocolate bullets into a Valentine's Day gift.
Yeah, it does.
And we see like all these Valentines that he gets because he ends up getting a bunch of them. And Boiled is like just distraught. And Sakamoto is like, you can have these if you want. I don't care about them at all.
Yeah, which is weird seeing Sakamoto then to see him Sakamoto now, because Sakamoto now would have been all over those chocolates.
Yes, that is true. But I think it's because it's not coming from somebody potentially who he has feelings for that he doesn't care about.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he might need that like attachment to that person to possibly enjoy like the sweets. Or
Um,
maybe he was just so dedicated to his craft, his job.
I think it was that because, one of the things that he talked about and had in there before was the fact of, um, which it was, I think it was Shin that brought it up. Shin brings up that, hey, basically Sakamoto, like we used to, or I'm not used to seeing you eat ramen or anything. It was like ration packs.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like, for me, I think that's kind of what part of it is at that time, like, he didn't really care about what he got. It was more just the nutrition factor and what he could have to keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think now, especially after he's met Aoi and everything and whatnot, that he has become more of his like self by eating all the food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would think at this time it wouldn't matter who the chocolates and stuff would come from. He would still eat those. Um, Compared to him before, where it was kind of like food didn't matter.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. That's true. But we get this really awesome fight between Sakamoto and Boiled, which
let's just
we also
let's
find
just
out
face it. It wasn't that long of a fight.
nobody was cool. It was a really cool fight, I feel like. And plus, we're not even done with the fight towards the end of the episode. Like, it's still going by
Yeah,
the end of the episode.
yeah. I I feel like this could have been a little better.
Really? Because I thought it was really well animated.
Well, I just think about like the different times that he's already fought or whatever.
Uh huh.
Like for somebody like Boyle, I don't honestly feel like he's on the same par as some of the other assassins we've seen so far.
He's not as good as Pizza Guy?
No, I mean like Shin or like some of the other guys
Oh,
that
like
he's already
Tatsu.
defeated. Yeah, like we've had some of them already, and like sure, it's a neat trick and everything, but I'm just kind of like, well, how is Sakamoto not kind of like getting around part of them?
Yeah.
It seemed like he was doing it, and
I
they always blew up in his face.
I do feel like possibly. Now I'm just going on a limb here.
Okay,
In this, I feel like he was probably more distracted about like where his family was because they took his family away
right?
and he doesn't know what happened to him. So maybe he's too focused on his family. He's not really focused on the fight itself.
Yeah,
Because like the way his demeanor was, he was like, it seemed a little off, like for them involving his family, because usually we've gotten before, like it didn't really involve his family. It involved Shin,
right,
you
right.
know? So that's
Or
maybe what I
Lou,
was thinking. Like maybe that's why Boyle kind of got the best of Sakamoto in a sense
maybe, yeah,
at this point. And we also see Obagiri. Obagiri ends up getting a hold of Shin because she ends up having Ayoi and Hana, who are quietly, pleasantly knocked out. They're asleep, which Obagiri is fucking nutso.
yeah,
She ends up taking Shin and like her henchmen like strap him to a table and get ready to carve him up. And she tells Lou to basically like, oh man, I'm gonna cut him up every second you can't touch me or something like that. I think it was right.
yeah, something weird like that.
And Lou just comes out of nowhere in this situation and just
Yeah,
fucking drop kicks the hell out of her.
right.
When I saw this part, I was like, what the fuck?
And then we get that whole where Shin's talking about, and he goes, "What the hell? Are you drunk?"
Are you drunk? Are you doing Tai Chi or drunken boxing? What are you doing?
Yeah, so that was kind of a fun spin because I mean I haven't seen anybody try and like play off of that or whatever, unless it was like the what's his name Choi or something in Mortal Kombat. Uh,
Oh, Boraicho?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't I haven't seen anybody else closely have anything like this. Uh,
Well, there was Jackie Chan in Drunken Master.
well, that's what I was going to refer to.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anybody else except for that guy um, before since like Drunken Master.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think drunken style is a really big style, but it's interesting. She attempted to pull it off.
Yeah,
Let's just say she attempted and failed to pull it off because Obagiri was apparently stronger than we thought, and apparently Shin's gonna have to fight her because was it Shin or is it Liu who has to fight her?
Lou's the one that was fighting
Because
her.
Shin was strapped onto the gurney,
Yeah,
I think it was.
and then he ended up on the ground at some point.
That's what it was. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, because that's when he was yelling at her about, "Are you drunk?"
Yeah,
And then
that's what it was. Yeah.
yeah, and then told us what she was doing.
But we
So
also end up finding out that Sakamoto doesn't remember Boiled at all.
he did. Yeah, he doesn't remember him until he says his little stupid anagram about the glove.
Yeah, yeah. Which she's like, "What? How can you not remember me? We were hard boiled together. We did everything together. How can you not know who I am?" And this is when we get the whole beatdown from Boiled and stuff. Which I mean, I don't see how you couldn't like this scene. Like I loved watching this fight scene.
I just thought it was okay.
I thought it was really well
Uh,
animated. Like I loved seeing
I
like
think
different.
more of it goes into the character.
You think so?
Yeah, like because probably what's going to end up happening. We're going to see in the next episode is two things. Borok Cho or whatever her name is, I can't remember.
Obagiri,
Yeah, that one. I don't know where the fuck I got that name from.
Borakcho.
Borok Cho. Um, Obagiri is going to like almost get over the limit, and uh, Boyle's going to come in and stop her. Obviously, by reading the situation, and then I think we're going to have this whole thing where Boyle's going to cross the line or whatever, which he already kind of has. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering. Not so much when Sakamoto's going to win the fight, but how long until he wins the fight.
I think he wins it next episode.
Well, yeah, but how long into the episode?
Yeah, yeah.
Are we going to get about half of the episode of this something going
I
on, or is
honestly,
it going to start out with him beating him early, and then it's going to be them going to try and find Obagiri?
I honestly don't remember what happens after this point.
Yeah,
Like I
but
forgot.
just seeing like what the character that he was like before, I don't feel like we're going to actually move that far past this. Like, we're going to find out his character is the same as he used to be. He just acted cooler now.
Maybe. I mean, he kind of seems kind of the same. If you're talking about hard boiled or boiled,
Yeah.
he kind of seems the same, to be honest. Like, I don't really know if he's that cool.
No.
But we end up finding out, like we said, Sakamoto doesn't know him, which sends Boiled into a frenzy, and he starts like beating the hell out of Sakamoto, which is a no-no, I feel like. And all Sakamoto keeps asking, like, is where's my family? What did you do with my family? Like that's always on his mind. Um,
Yeah.
but then Sakamoto remembers, like you said, about the dynamite punch, whatever it was called. I forgot what it was called.
Dynamite. Um, I don't. The anagram was like RDR or something.
RDR or DRP, I think it was.
Yeah, because one of them was for the balls and the other one was for the glove or the
Yeah,
fist.
because on here it says he has a rocket powered gauntlet,
Yeah.
but it doesn't say what it is exactly. But he
Yeah.
starts beating down Sakamoto, and we get like as the dust clears, Sakamoto starts listing off like the ingredients for something. And it's actually the ingredients for the super like explosive bouncy balls that he got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which funny because if you look back in the flashback, you see that on the table is like all these like formulas for the super bouncy ball explosion things. And that's how Sakamoto remembers it because it was so stupid, he said.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. And we come out, or Sakamoto comes out of the dust, and he is completely skinny.
Yeah, he is.
What did you think of this?
Oh man, I'm ready for it.
What do you think happened?
He's burning off the calories.
He burned off his calories, like I told you before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
He's full of Koji.
were you expecting this at all to happen?
Yeah, when you told me.
No, I meant like before, like when he came out of this, like we came out of the dust.
Yeah, at some point I figured something had to give, and if it was something else, like, you know, where he used the pots and stuff on the brothers before,
Mm-hmm.
obviously that didn't happen, so I was kind of waiting for something. And so after you had kind of told me that, I was like, I bet this will come out soon. And so when he walked out, I wasn't that shocked by it because, you know,
Yeah.
I knew it was going to kind of happen. I just didn't know exactly when it was going to happen.
So, did you happen to notice that he has no mustache when he's skinny?
Yeah.
Like when he burns off his calories, he loses his mustache?
Yeah, which is weird.
Why do you think that is?
He sucks it back in.
Like, where did his mustache go?
Who knows?
I didn't notice that the first
Hair length.
time.
It's his hair length. That's what it's got to be.
You think maybe he like de-aged himself or something?
Yeah.
Which people are saying online, apparently, which I feel like this is defeats the purpose of the anime or the manga,
Yeah.
that something to do with like not body positivity, but like,
Body dysmorphia.
yeah, body dysmorphia or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not like the original intention of the manga apparently, but people are like taking it in that direction.
Yeah.
Like Sakamoto doesn't like being overweight almost. That's why he burned off all his calories. But do they not know that Sakamoto's just going to get all that back? You know?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that.
I don't know if they were reading too much into it, to be honest.
Honestly, what I would say, reading between the lines, because you said he gained his weight back,
He gains it back like almost instantly.
is that he has some kind of like secret technique where his muscles pull his fat in and it condenses.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't explain anything for his mustache. But
No, it doesn't. That's like when the Red Hulk changes to the Red Hulk and he loses his mustache.
yeah,
Just saying. Just saying.
no mustache.
No mustache.
Yeah. Um. Um. I was going to say something about that, but I can't remember what it was. Oh,
What?
whenever he was reading out the ingredients, it made me think about the alchemic stuff
It was
for a
like
human body.
oh, yeah, it was like a human body. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like that whole like personified scene from Full Metal Alchemist where Ed's reading off all the stuff out of the book, like what measurements you need, everything, and all that. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Whoa, this is giving me some Full Metal Alchemist vibes
It
here."
was totally giving me Fullmetal Alchemist vibes as well. I was like, do you think Sakamoto's an alchemist? At first, I thought he was like listing off all the stuff that it was in his body,
Yeah,
but it wasn't. It was the stuff that was in the bombs and whatnot. And
yeah, yeah,
that's where this episode ends. Is with Sakamoto becoming skinny, ready to fight, boiled.
yeah.
So let me ask you, as a whole, what did you think of this episode?
Um, it's just all right.
Really?
Yeah, I think just because of how these are set up, more so, it's made to be. I feel like more of a comedy,
It is a comedy.
and so like I feel like reading the manga would probably be better in the sense of because I finished this chapter and I'm on to the next one or whatever, and then maybe I'm done by the end of the book of what it is, and it will kind of end like short and sweet with maybe a little cliffhanger or something. And I think that would be fine. But the fact that we are waiting week by week and the last episode is still where we're at, this episode's still where we're at, and then going into the next episode, we're probably still going to be at the carnival. And God, if we're in the carnival a fourth time, there's going to be some questions asked.
If I remember correctly, I
Yeah.
think I think the carnival ends with the next episode.
Okay. Um. Then I feel
Because
like
there's like one part where they go to like it's after this where they go to like an airsoft competition at a mall.
yeah,
They use like airsoft guns.
yeah.
If I remember correctly, I think that's where I stopped.
Okay.
What was that part? Because we haven't
Uh.
gotten to the bus scene yet. The bus scene's really cool, where they have like a fight on a bus.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um. But yeah, I mean, just that part. I feel like we're getting all this stuff, but like all this, the last episode could have technically stood alone, and then both of these could go together,
Yeah.
I guess. But it's kind of like we've been led up to a point with the first episode of getting Shin, with the second episode of getting Lou, and now we're kind of doing this weird thing where we're all in this event that's going on, and instead of it being like, like the time limit of it being like faster, it's, hey, well, we've been watching technically like 3 episodes, and we've only like covered like part of a day.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
But I feel like story-wise, they're keeping everything moving. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's stagnant at all.
Yeah.
And plus, they're very much building up the world in a sense, because we got the JAA, we're learning more about the Order and stuff like that. We're getting to learn more about like Liu and Shin and stuff, and like the different assassins that show up, and especially the biggest one of all, I feel like, is more of Sakamoto's backstory.
Yeah.
Because we only got a very snippet of his backstory. So, I mean, Sakamoto is a very personable person,
Yeah.
private person. So we don't know much about his backstory other than like he was an assassin, and then he got married and had a child. We don't really know what happened before that.
Yeah.
So I feel like in a way, like the story is still moving forward. Probably not at the pace that you want, because we are watching this week to week.
Yeah.
And we're only covering one episode, so I can see why it very much has like a pacing issue possibly for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just not like your standardness for a bunch of the other ones.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not a standard anime in a sense. Like, it's very much taking the shonen genre and twisting it on its head in a sense. Like,
Maybe.
we're not getting these really long drawn out fights
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I feel like that's what like we're accustomed to when it comes to a shonen anime. So I feel like things are a little restructured in the episodes, and it's very much like possibly throwing us off as we're watching it, because we expect this big fight to be drawn out for 5 episodes. But I believe that the fight
Definitely
ends.
not. I don't want to fight drugged out for 5 episodes.
Some
I
people
just
do.
I just need a little like short, sweet, like,
Yeah.
I
But
just
I have to say,
I
I do like it that there seems to be a challenge building up with each each Sakamoto's enemies.
yeah. Well, and the only other thing that I'll say is I also feel like in that it is playing up more to the comedy part.
Yeah,
Which, in manga is one of the big genres that I really dislike.
I feel like the comedy's done very well in this, though.
Like for Dr. Slump,
Oh, I fucking hate that.
like things like that. Like, to me, if we had like a comparison of what somebody goes, well, what would you compare this to right now? I would go with
I wouldn't compare it to Doctor Slump.
I would go with a Dr. Slump or something like that, just because or like
Oh
Decoy.
wait, Doctor Slump?
Yeah.
I thought you meant Doctor Stone.
Oh no,
I was like,
no,
Doctor Slump is fun.
no. Dr. Stone's not comical.
I don't know why I thought Doctor Stone.
They both start with Dr. S.
Maybe. I was like, Doctor
Yeah.
Slump is fun.
Yeah, but that's it. I feel like it's more, even though there are fight scenes in it, it's more comical based.
Yeah,
than
I think
it
that's
is.
what I like about it, is that it very much is comical,
Yeah,
and they do different things with the comedy in a sense. Like, even when you have a serious scene, it's not it's the comedy doesn't really interfere with that.
yeah,
I feel like it's very well integrated in like the punchlines and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like, it's funny. Like, I was laughing at this
yeah.
episode, and I watched this episode like 4 times. Not because I like extremely liked it, because I had to review it for the podcast and I forgot stuff.
This is true. You do watch episodes a lot.
I will watch an episode like twice, but we were going to record and we couldn't record yesterday.
You don't have to tell me that. I know that you like watching this episode.
I liked watching all of it. Like, I think it's all really good.
You're like, I started over from episode 1 so I could watch it. That would be weird to hear.
Episode, I even watched the outros and the intros too.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah. But no, like I like it that there's a little bit more of a challenge for Sakamoto.
Yeah.
It's not like necessarily one and done enemies. I do want to see if Tatsu comes back. Like, I want to know what happened to Tatsu, because Tatsu is very much like, oh yeah, I'm really only in this for the money. I don't really care about anything else,
Yeah.
So I wonder if he's going to come back or possibly befriend Sakamoto and the gang.
He's gonna die.
He's gonna go work for him. He's gonna be their janitor.
No, he's probably gonna die because he's gonna be like, something's gonna happen, and then he's gonna step in the way of them trying to kill Hana, and then he's gonna end up getting killed instead.
I would be so sad if that happened.
Be like, what?
Because then Hana would have to experience that. And, one thing Sakamoto doesn't...
she's passed out.
Oh, true. She's passed out at the moment. But I'm just saying, Sakamoto doesn't want to have his actual life interfere with his past life.
Right.
And he doesn't want his family to be wrapped up into that. So I feel like that could be very traumatic in a sense.
Yeah.
For Hana. Somebody who doesn't really know what's going on. I think she knows he was an assassin. Maybe.
I wouldn't even say that.
I don't know. Like, do you think she follows the family rule of not killing?
You're stupid. I'm sure they kill bugs and stuff. I'm sure it's just not human.
But I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. Probably my favorite episode at this moment, because I was laughing really hard in this.
I gotta say the last episode was my favorite.
The last episode was really good too. I really liked both of them. I thought they fit perfectly together, and they probably should have just been one really long episode.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have just give us an hour-long episode. If you have 2 episodes and they're part of the same story, just put them together and make her just put them together. We don't need to wait week to week in that sense.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, just as short as they are too. I mean,
yeah, no, for sure.
Because the last one I felt like just had more meat to it. It's kind of like a lead up, and then this one, it's kind of it left it open ended without a cliffhanger because we already know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So probably what would have been cool is for Sakamoto to put up a little bit of a fight first, and then we got where the thing burst or whatever, that cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
And then not known about it, maybe a silhouette or something, but not known it was going to happen that way until the next episode.
That would have been cool too. Yeah, keep the secret kind of thing.
Yeah, because I mean, that's kind of the thing is I'm okay, well, what am I looking forward to the next episode? I'm I feel like I know everything that's going to happen. So,
you know what it kind of reminds me of?
What?
When Rock Lee takes off the weights, but it's not as dramatic, I feel like. Or when Goku takes off the weights.
When he transforms?
Remember in his fight with Gaara when he's like, oh, I can take off my weights?
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of, kind of.
When he transformed, though?
Is it when he transformed?
What are you comparing it to?
Sort of Sakamoto finally took off the weight so he can move faster.
I would compare it to the Sound 4 or Sound 5, depending on which one you go with, fight where it was Choji versus I think it was Juro. You know, the little group that came to steal Sasuke.
Yeah, yeah. I
And,
vaguely remember that.
and then Choji had these 3 little pellet things,
Yeah.
and it was like a pink one, a yellow one, and a green one.
Yeah,
And
didn't he eat
so,
him?
yeah, and it would release his power. Well, what it was ended up really doing was eating away his fat.
Yeah.
So one of them increased his power, one of them did something else, made him more elastic, I think, and the third one ate all of his fat and made him move very fast and whatnot. And so that one I feel like is almost a super easy comparison for Sakamoto into skinny Sakamoto.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I just hope they don't abuse Skinny Sakamoto, like keep bringing him out. You
yeah,
know?
there's no way knowing that.
Like I want socks. I want him to be like
I want
uh,
chubby, I want chubby
I
Sakamoto
want
because
chubby
I,
Sakamoto,
I,
okay?
I relate to him more.
I relate to this chubby fat Japanese man.
That owns a convenience store and eats all day.
Yeah. I relate, okay? No, but I mean I hope they don't like abuse it kind of like how they abuse like Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
You know, like I want it to be special when Skinny Sakamoto shows up. Like he only does it for like like a last resort kind of thing. That's how
Oh,
I
I have no
feel.
clue. Yeah, I have no clue.
No, I'm just saying that's what I want.
Yeah.
Because you know,
Yeah, because the other thing is that I hope they don't do is I kind of like this whole thing that we have where Sakamoto doesn't talk a lot, like we get most of it
yeah,
through Shin. And with this episode, after them getting split up, I think that changes the dynamic. Well, especially because Shin couldn't use his power. Of now, Sakamoto does have to talk more, and he does
yeah,
have to do all this stuff. And with that, and him having this kind of skinny up and everything, uh, I agree with you on hopefully that it doesn't get used a lot because I think that takes away from his character more.
yeah, yeah. No, I feel like it would as well.
And I mean I would totally feel like somebody pulled a red herring on us if it was like, well, we did have this fat guy that was Sakamoto and
I
now
think
he's
he
now
stays. He pretty much stays overweight.
yeah, now he transforms to fight like every time and we presented him as this big quiet guy and now he talks all the time, when he's in a
Yeah,
battle and stuff like that. Like
yeah. I don't
those
want it
are
like that.
those are things I think would take away from it a lot and would make it not as fun as it was when we watched the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. That's how I would feel too.
So, and that's where I have, or that's kind of where I would say I'm more angsty about part of it because I'm like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, most definitely, most definitely. I would not want that as well.
Yeah.
We just want to say thank you for listening or watching, depending on your preference. You can find us at our Instagram page at Otakuology, or I think it's at Otakuology Podcast. Rate and review the show. Tell your friends that's the best way to help our show get out to people. Is ratings, reviews, 5 stars, stuff like that. We very much appreciate it, and we'll hope you guys stick around for the next episode moving forward as we continue.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking forward to reading or watching more of this because I kind of forgot what happened a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't remember. I remember like in my mind like flashes, but I don't remember like what context it was in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how far I remember exactly, or
Yeah,
maybe I
you
might
will.
go back and like reread the volumes because I think I only made it to like halfway through volume 2. I think
Yeah. How could you?
I was just too preoccupied with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah,
yeah. Well, I guess that also means that we will see you next Tuesday, and hopefully you will stick around and listen to the rest of these shows with us as we cover Sakamoto Days going forward.
Yeah. Because it's been fun. Peace out. Stay safe. See you next Tuesday.
Yes.